Hello, our esteemed viewers, and welcome to our top-notch education consultancy programs. This is an educational platform where we share ideas. We've been sharing ideas from the set books. We've been analyzing the stories that you know, that is Fathers of Nations, the Samaritan, and also A Silent Song and other stories. In this particular program, I would like to take you through the writing of essays because there's so many questions that are coming up. Teachers are asking the best way and the best approaches to the writing of essays from the set books. But there is a clip that I had already given. Of course, there is a video we made about it, but there are some clarifications that I would want to make even as we proceed with our learning. Number one is that in paper 3, especially question 2 and 3, the test is on morals and also what we call familiarizing yourself with the current issues that affect our society, and specifically the issues that are touching on our morality. So usually the questions that we get are those questions that touch on two things: the vices that we have in the society and the virtues that we have in the society. And the candidate needs to be aware that vices are condemned and virtues are upheld or are upheld. So anytime you face a question, essay question in paper 3, question 2 and 3, remember question 2 will come from a compulsory set text. And for this year, we are expecting that the compulsory essay will come from the Samaritan, and next year probably it will be from Fathers of Nations. From the essay, from the optional set text, there will be questions coming from the 3 optional set books, that is A Silent Song and Other Stories. Another one is Parliament of Owls, and also Artists of the Floating World. So expect questions coming from those areas. But remember that I've said that the questions will be touching on our morality. And at morality level, we are looking at two things, the vices and the virtues. And the questions will actually be having that kind of approach. For instance, let me just give you this as an example of a possible question coming from the Samaritan. That those who stand for the truth will finally triumph despite the many challenges they face from our leaders. That those who stand for the truth will always triumph despite the many challenges they go through in the hands of our leaders. So that is a question that can be given in a national examination or any other examination, and the candidate is expected to tackle that kind of questions. Of course, I'm not going to take you through the processes of the introduction, through the building of the body, and finally the conclusion. But let me just highlight a few things. A candidate is expected to interpret this question. And by interpreting the question, the candidate is expected to identify the key words that are in the task that has been given. And when I make reference to the task here, it means the question that has been given. So where do we have the so-called keywords when it comes to this question? The first one is standing for the truth. So the candidate would have to interpret what it means to stand for the truth. And the second one is the challenges that you go through in the hands of the leaders because you have stood for the truth. So that is basically the kind of introduction, the kind of interpretation that we expect to come from the candidate. And if you look at that question, this bit of standing for the truth is simply to be honest. So a candidate who says that those who are honest, irrespective of the problems that they face coming from the leaders, they will always succeed. Irrespective of the many problems that they face as a result of standing for that truth, or as a result of being honest, they will always succeed at the end of the day. So that is the kind of approach that we expect the student to take, because by telling us that being, if you're honest, you'll always surmount all the problems that you can face in the hands of the leaders or in the hands of those who are in authority, then you shall have interpreted the question. But let me now get to the details of this question when it comes to the building of the body. And I want to state here that this is where many candidates mess up, because they are giving superfluous kind of ideas, things that they just want to pass through the text. They don't want to give the topic sentence, they don't want to give the background information and illustrations, and they don't want to give the clincher that makes the paragraph comprehensive. And that is how they lose out when it comes to the marks. So for this question, maybe the question is asking in reference to Nicole in the Samaritan. So it could be that those who stand for the truth will finally triumph despite the many challenges they go through in the hands of the leaders. Then you have to discuss the statement, giving clear illustrations from the life of Miss Nicole in John Lara's play, The Samaritan. So we expect the candidate to restrict his or her discussions around the character of Nicole. And therefore the illustrations that are given must be very restrictive. You don't have to explore other characters, because in this case you have been given a character to discuss. So in this instance, how do we tackle this question? We know that Nicole goes through a lot of challenges in the hands of the leaders, and this is one of the areas that the candidate needs to bring out. What are these challenges, and how does she go around these challenges, and finally she succeeds? Now let's take, for instance, the challenge of the principal of the school, that is Madame Narine. If you read the text, you realize that at one point Madame Narine tells Nicole that the matter of the Samaritan app has to be brought to a close with the urgency and seriousness it deserves, because she doesn't want the interferences that the political class is bringing in her school. And therefore, she tells Nicole that the issue of the application should be brought to a close with the urgency that it deserves. But Madame Nicole tells the principal they should not abandon the ingenious innovation with great potential simply because of the threat that is coming from the leaders. So you can see the responses from Madame Nicole when the principal of the school, and that is Madame Narine, tells her that this issue of the application needs to be brought to a close with the urgency that it deserves, because he doesn't want the political class to interfere with the affairs of our school. So Madame Nicole says that he is not ready to appease a few self-seeking political class just to drop the idea of an ingenious innovation that can help the society. Madame Narine also cautions Madame Nicole against picking battles with the Mayor Mosi, and actually calls Mayor Mosi an elephant. And she says that if you dare an elephant into a wrestling match, will it not trample on you? So he is actually trying to tell Nicole the threats that she's actually exposing her life to. One of them is trying to tackle an elephant, and an elephant in this case is Mayor Mosi. But what does Nicole say? Nicole says that an elephant that kills a rat is not a hero. So you can see the threats are coming even from her principal, but she's been able to tell the principal that that elephant that tramples on a rat should never be considered an elephant or a hero in any way. So you can see we've built an idea We build an idea from the text. We have the textual evidence that is coming from the text, the threats against Madame Nicole's life and how she's been able to surmount that, the threats that are coming from the principal. Now, the second threat that you can pick out from this text is attempts by Mayor Mosi to bribe Madame Nicole. There are so many attempts in this text that are coming out like they want to bribe Madame Nicole. Again, he tells Nicole that all need money. Nicole is one of them. She needs money. And asks Nicole to quote any figure, any amount that she would want, and that money should be given to her. He is even telling Madame Nicole, that is Mayor Mosi, that even those children that have come up with the application, they also need the money. So Nicole should be given an opportunity to quote any figure that she wants, and that money will be given to her. But what is her response? Again, we also realize that Jaden also makes a suggestion to Nicole that he should actually be given a position to run the municipality. And there is even a position that they are suggesting that it actually should be given. The director in charge of the municipality. But what does Nicole say when Mosi tries to bribe her? Nicole insists that she's disappointed that the person that should offer leadership is the one that would want to bribe her. In fact, what he has done should actually be uploaded on the Samaritan app. So you can see there are all those attempts to lure Madame Nicole actually to barge in and probably drop the idea of the Samaritan. But she's been able to stand her ground. So when she's offered this position to run the municipality, she says that we don't need positions. We don't need to create more positions. What we need is a change of heart. People should change their hearts to do the right thing. So even as these leaders try to bribe her to do the wrong thing, Madame Nicole has insisted on doing the right thing. So those are just the background information that we are trying to put across so that we have what we call a complete paragraph that has been fully developed. Now, there is also another threat to her life coming from Inspector of Police, that is Bembe. She also threatens to arrest Madame Nicole. And she actually doesn't just threaten. He goes to Madame Nicole's office and attempts to arrest her. And when he arrives there, they had accused her falsely of having stolen the school generator. But Madame Nicole insists that those are fabrications against her name and he's not done anything wrong. And thereafter they come up with other accusations like that Madame Nicole's mobile phone was found at the scene of murder. But Madame Nicole refuses because he says that he is not going to budge to such fabrications against her life. So when the idea of the phone fails, they come up with other reasons why they should arrest her. One of them being that he is so strong-willed to be a school teacher that is going actually to spoil the minds of the students with her a strong will. But she says, no, this is the application. I was simply trying to help the students. They came up with this thing. So every single attempt that they have made to make sure that Madame Nicole budges, she doesn't. So we have to build a case, and a very strong case, that people should always stand for the truth, like Madame Nicole has stood for the truth. So I wanted to bring out these things so that we are able to help our students in their essay writing. That in our essay writing, there are always two sides, the bit of the virtues and the bits of the vices. In this case, the virtue that we are trying to test is a virtue called the truth, and Madame Nicole has stood for the truth. The vice that we are trying to condemn here is the vice that we call threats and corruption, where leaders are using corrupt means actually to lure other people who stand for the truth to be on their side. But we realize that at the end of it all, Madame Nicole has rejected all these things. And what happens at the end of the play? The virtue that Madame Nicole stands for actually triumphs. How? When all these officials of the municipality have been arrested, then Madame Nicole actually has won. Thank you very much. I hope that my discussion with you has helped someone to understand how we need to go around essay writing and how we need to build our case, how we need to build what we call the background information, our illustrations, to get the marks that we need in an examination. Be blessed.